Alright, so there are a lot of characters in Super Smash Bros. There are some recent characters, and then there are some characters that have been in the game for over 20 years now. And they haven't even gotten any changes in the last 20 years. So in this video, I'm going to be reworking some of the Super Smash Bros. Roster to make them more accurate to how they are in the modern games. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do all like 80 plus characters in the game. So in this video, I'm just going to do the base roster for Super Smash Bros. 64. But if you guys want to see one for Melee or even Ultimate, then definitely make sure to leave a like and leave a comment. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. But yeah, let's get on to the first character. Alright, so the first character I'm going to be talking about is Mario. Now, Mario is probably the most popular character in the entire series. He does have a few references to his games, like his down B, which is Flood, and then also his side B is the Cape power-up. But these are all pretty old references. And I'm pretty surprised that they didn't add Cappy from the newest game, Super Mario Odyssey. I think they could have given him something to do with Cappy, maybe for his side B. It could be used as a recovery or even a projectile. And the next character on the roster is Donkey Kong. Now the Donkey Kong moveset is pretty basic. He just has a bunch of punches and stuff. But now he has a bunch of his own games with the Donkey Kong Country series, so there's a lot more to base his character off of. Maybe they could give him some of the barrel moves. Maybe he just like throws the barrels, it gives him a projectile. Or maybe they could give him like a banana peel attack, maybe like Diddy Kong or something. Or they could even give him the coconut gun. Now the next character in the roster is Link from The Legend of Zelda. Now back when Link was introduced to the series, Zelda was a pretty basic game. You just ran around with like a sword and arrows and boomerang and some bombs. So that was all they really had to make his moveset. And it's basically stayed that way for most of the series. Except for in Ultimate, where they gave him one new item, which is his remote bomb. But I still think they could have added a bunch more from Breath of the Wild. Especially with Tears of the Kingdom that just released, there's a ton more stuff that they could add to Link's moveset. Right now he just kind of shoots arrows, but in the new game they added a new ability where you can fuse items to your arrows. So I think they should introduce that to his moveset, kind of like Sora's, where you can go in between which thing that you're attaching to your arrows and then you shoot it. Next is for his up B. Link has a super basic up B that's shared by like a bunch of different sword fighters. For example, Sora and Mii Sword Fighter basically have the exact same one as Link. So I think we could change it up a little bit and give him the paraglider as a recovery. I don't see why they didn't do this, because the paraglider was a pretty key item in Breath of the Wild and in Tears of the Kingdom. So I think it would just make sense to give him that ability. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff they could do with Link. And I'm sure with the next Zelda game, whenever that comes out, there's going to be even more crazy stuff that they could add. And next in the roster is Samus from the Metroid series. Samus in Smash Now is a pretty basic character, and I don't think there's much of a way to change that. All of Samus's abilities in the game are all just basically projectiles. And I think the way Samus is in Smash right now is pretty accurate to the games. However, I do think they could add a few new abilities from the newer games. Like maybe give her like that laser from the newest game, or even give her like more than just 2 different types of rockets. Alright, and for the next character, we're going back to the Mario series for Yoshi, even though Yoshi does technically have his own series. Now the Yoshi series is pretty basic. It's basically just eat stuff, throw eggs, which is kind of what he does in Smash currently. But I think we could make his character a bit more interesting. Like maybe give him more aim with his eggs. Like give him the ability to aim the eggs better. Make him able to choose if he wants to throw them farther or shorter. For the next character, we're going to be talking about probably the second most popular character, and the most beginner-friendly character, Kirby. Now, Kirby games have stayed pretty much the same since the beginning. Of course, with just adding new abilities and stuff. But a lot of those new abilities could be really cool to implement to his moveset. For example, we could use the mouthful mode from the newest Kirby game, and maybe make him able to turn into like a car or something. And next up is Fox from Star Fox. Now, Fox hasn't had a game in quite a long time, and also his games are all about flying around in a plane and shooting stuff, which doesn't really translate that well into a fighting game. So there isn't much we could really change about his abilities. However, we could change his final smash. His final smash is a lot like Captain Falcon's and Falco's. Basically all they do is hit them, bring them into a cutscene, and then do a bunch of damage. Now I think we should change this to be a lot more like how Wolf's was in Brawl. Just let him fly around in his plane and like drop bombs or just shoot people. That would be a lot more fun for the player and also the people who are fighting against him, so that they don't just have to watch like a 10-second cutscene and then die. Next up is the mascot for the biggest series in the entire world, Pokemon. Now Pikachu, there isn't much we can do about his moveset. He's stayed basically the same since the first Pokemon game, and he probably will stay the same for a long while. However, what I think we can do is give him a few differences from Pichu. Pikachu and Pichu are technically not Echo Fighters, but they have basically the exact same moveset, other than the fact that Pichu damages himself. So I think since Pikachu is the evolved form of Pichu, we should give him some new moves, and more interesting moves that he can use in the game. For example, we could give him Iron Tail, which is a move that he can learn and also is a pretty big move in the anime. It's basically like his signature move. We could also maybe change how his Thunderbolt works. Maybe give him like 3 Thunderbolts that are shorter ranged, or make him shoot outwards or something, just to differentiate it from Pichu's. There's a ton of stuff we can do with Pikachu relating to all of the Pokemon franchises. We could take some stuff from the game or the trading cards or even the anime. There's just a bunch of different stuff we can do. But we'll just have to wait until the next Smash game to see if any of these come true. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. But yeah, I'll see you guys all next time.